Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be covering 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, season 2, episode 9. This episode was really boring, so it's probably not going to take me that long to kind of go through all the couples. So let's start off with Armando and Keith. So they're kind of continue to stroll in their neighborhood and things of that nature, and Kenneth tries to show affection towards Armando, and Armando's kind of like, yo, chill. And understandably, they're in Mexico, he's in an area he's unfamiliar with, he's scared, he's still really new at this, and he doesn't want to kind of ruffle anyone's feathers at the moment. And then Kenneth is kind of just like, it's whatever, it's no big deal, like if I want to be affectionate, I should be able to be affectionate. And I feel like one of the problems Kenneth has is that he forgets that he's in Mexico and not in the States, and that they operate differently, so move accordingly. I don't understand why these Americans on the show just feel like, when I get to this country, I get to kind of do whatever I want. The American law applies to me, when it's just like, it doesn't. So I don't feel like that's something that is ever going to change anytime soon, with whether it be the area they live in or whether it be Mexico. So that's something that they're going to have to accept. And I feel like it's going to be challenging for Kenneth to accept his new way of life. You already saw last episode, he was going off with the food and the cleanliness and the candies and all this other stuff, and he needs to learn Spanish. That's the lesson for today. Kenneth needs to learn Spanish. Otherwise than that, there was really nothing to show. So then we have Ariella and Binyam. So they decided, or Janice decided, that they would stay in the hotel with her versus going back to the original apartment they were in. And Binyam said he's gonna have the new apartment ready in 2 weeks, and yet he's still like, is he gonna have workers work on it, or is he planning on working on it? I was confused, because I was just like, someone needs to be renovating that apartment. And they're gonna do a hospital tour, just so Ariella's mom feels comfortable leaving her daughter in this hospital, or in the situation of giving birth in another country. So obviously there's a little bit of hiccup with how they do things in a third world country versus a first world country. Like, this is to be expected. I thought the place was actually pretty decent. It was better than what I could have ever expected, and the staff seemed very friendly. They were able to answer and address all the questions they have, and like, people give birth all the time in third world countries, and somehow they come out okay. So to kind of just think the worst is not the best way to kind of go into the relationship. Also, they talk, Ariella's mom brings up his past situation and like what happened with that. I think Janice was asking a very decent question, but the problem is it was kind of getting lost in translation, because Binyam wasn't necessarily always answering her question properly, and he was kind of just saying like yes without like follow-up when there needed to be, but I think it was because of the language barrier. But she had asked him, like, you got married before, you got married to an American woman before, and then you guys had a child and she's gone, and like, what happened? And he said that like, she had looked through his phone, came to her own conclusions, and decided that she wanted out, and she divorced them, and she just took the kid. So he's kind of sitting in the state of like, he's clueless as to like what happened, which I'm just like, there has to kind of be more to it. It can't just be like, F you forever, I'm taking your child, we're going away, you're never coming back, type of thing. So that's kind of how he explained the situation, which didn't really help anybody because like I was still like, what? And Janice asked Binyam, is he planning on staying there or going to the States? And I don't know what is with this thing that Binyam can't leave, and it could be a visa thing or a passport thing. Not even to stay in America, just to leave and visit and have her have the baby in America. For some reason, that's not an option. So when Janice asked him, like, hey, you're trying to come to America, he said no. And he didn't really outline the kind of plan he has for the family and for how he wants them to settle down in Ethiopia or blah blah blah. He doesn't really have anything. When they talked about money, it's just almost like, yeah, I'm gonna earn money for my family. And I was just like, okay, like you have to elaborate more. But I think it was because of the language barrier. He didn't really understand like what else to say. But that whole singing career needs to throw away that whole singing career, because that can't happen. From that little snippet I heard, I was like, no. Dancing, I don't know how lucrative dancing is there. And the martial arts, unless he's being paid to fight, I don't know how lucrative that is as well. So he really doesn't have a plan. And then Ariella's like, oh, I do freelance, and like I would hate to ask my family for money. Like, Ariella, you gotta pick up the slack too. You can't rely on Binyam. Anyways, so next we have Brittany and Yazan. So it seems like they have made up, and they're going to go and see Yazan's uncle to kind of convince him to speak with his father about accepting their relationship and giving them time. And what I feel like one of the biggest problems with their situation is Yazan doesn't translate what he's saying. And it's like you have Yazan and his uncle and Brittany over here, and they're engaging in conversation, and she's just kind of like, okay, so what was being said? So did this happen? Did this say? And they'd have these long-winded conversations, and when Yazan would talk to Brittany, it'd be like, he's gonna do it. He said yeah. And it's just like, you said like 10 sentences, and you've translated like, yes, he's gonna do it. They talk about the stuff of like her converting to Islam, convincing his father to give them another chance. And Brittany has like expressed that like she does want to learn, but she doesn't want to learn on their speed. She wants to learn on her own time, give it time. But I'm like, Brittany, you're also still married, so let's not pretend that you're not feeling pressured to not marry him because you lied about your situation. So you're trying to play kind of the damsel in distress card when you have lies too. I don't like that Yazan, and I don't think he's translating it well, or maybe he is telling Brittany that she needs to change herself. Like, you need to be a new person. That's not the person you fell in love with. That's not the person you're with. So don't start, you can't be telling somebody like, oh, I want to be with you and everything, but make sure to change your whole self to suit my lifestyle, my culture, my religion, and my family. Thank you very much. You can, whatever you were before, you can throw it out the door because you can't be that anymore. That doesn't work, and I feel like I hate that Yazan keeps telling Brittany to change who she is, which is like not true. But at the end of the day, the uncle is going to talk to the father, and we'll see how that pans out. So next we have Devin and Jihoon. There really wasn't much to talk about. They explored Korea. I feel like Alicia, Devin's mom, is not very open-minded, and she does not need to come back to Korea or leave America, because she just seemed like she's not enjoying her time there. Obviously, due to the situation that her daughter had made a mistake and came down here to nothing, but you have to kind of make do with what you have. You can't be miserable the whole time, and I feel like she's kind of being miserable the whole time. So they got to see a little bit of Korea, and then at the end, they're going to have a sit-down dinner with his parents because Devin wants to speak with his mom to ask him, like, hey, what's going on? And Jihoon. So Devin only brings Devin only brings Taeyang and herself to the dinner and leaves the other two. And it, I felt it when Jihoon's mom told, or Jihoon's dad told him to get waters, and he came in with the waters and totally like irks past his wife and his son. And I was just like, not even like a I'll be with you 1 second, not even a hey 1 second, hold on, I have something in my hand. It was just kind of like, let me just do this. And I'm just like, this is this type of things that like I see him do that I'm like, he ain't shit, and he was never shit. So Devin, you took that L before getting pregnant by him, but like you don't need to take that other L for staying with him. You can leave him and like recover. So they have their translator app, and that translator app is petty and sneaky and is a liar, because the stuff they were translating back to English at least was very, very wrong, did not make sense, and everything was lost in translation. I feel like we haven't really gotten much from the conversations. We're kind of having the same old conversations. Jihoon lied. Jihoon doesn't have money to support the family. Devin thinks Jihoon lied. She feels like she was cheated into coming to Korea, even though there wasn't much set up, and that the mom has money for she kept for him, and I felt like nothing was addressed. And the translator app was not helping, and then the whole situation, they were getting frustrated because they were kind of hearing bits and pieces of a story. Either way, I'm more on Jihoon's dad's side, because he seemed like he was more like, you gotta step up to the plate, versus his mom. His mom's like very like coddling him, and I'm just like, it's annoying, because I'm just like, he's a grown-ass man with a wife and a child. You should not be defending him. He needs to accept responsibility, and he needs to do better. And doing better, if doing better is, honey, you guys gotta go, and I'm gonna send money for you guys to take care of you guys in the States, let it be. Or he can't magically have like a good job type of thing. But if he puts in some kind of plan in place, I'm sure she could forgive him. But he's just kind of like, oh, I'm sorry, I effed up, like I'm a terrible person, like, and like that's all he does is just talk about how crap he is, but then does nothing about it. So I don't know what she's gonna do. And then last but not least, we have Tim and Melissa. So Tim finally reaches in Colombia. I feel like their meeting was a bit awkward, because they're trying to get back together, but they're not quite where they used to be, so it's a little bit of awkwardness. And then instantly, the next day, she wants to know, which I'm like, I feel like all of this stuff should have been addressed beforehand, before I got in person, before you decided to live here. Because if I'm asking you all the hard-hitting questions in person while you decided to live here, it just makes me, it makes me mad and get into a mood. And like Melissa was, she didn't believe what he was saying, because he said that like he didn't know what was gonna happen, but he invited her over and they had a very questionable relationship, which I'm like, like I don't know if I completely believe that. But all of these things happened, and then I feel like he's sorry for it, but like all of this should have been hashed out before he came down there, because he's also talking about like how he doesn't share his feelings with her because she's constantly breaking up with him and stuff like that. I feel like I want to tell you all that stuff before I get down there, because if you're someone who constantly breaks up with me and now I'm telling you the situation that happened and you don't like what I'm hearing, your next point of action is to be like, okay, I'm breaking up with you. And breaking up with me when I've left everything to go live in your country is not ideal. So I feel like some of these stories are becoming repetitive, and it's kind of getting annoying. We're on episode 9. I hope there's not too much episodes left, because it's kind of like, okay, cheating. Okay, you lied about your finances. Okay, your family doesn't accept this person. Okay, like I'm hearing the same old stuff. So anyways, that's the end of my recap of 9 Day Fiance The Other Way Season 2, Episode 9. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I'm just a dumb cunt, fucking sick and tired of it. Maybe I could front love, maybe I could buy a zip, maybe I get fucked up. Next time I could save some. Why it's gotta be like this? Why it's gotta be that way? Put it inside. Feel so rise up, banging on that loud.